Hey guys, Katie here from It's a Creek Farm, and in our previous video you saw shortly after we found out that our back pumpkin field completely died. Now there's a few reasons that I'm toying around with that this could have possibly happened. The first one that I'm really leaning towards is that it's very super sandy soil and we've had heat and high winds, and I had missed the day before. That was a Tuesday that we found out about that, and I had missed the day before going out and checking them and watering them because I was doing 800 gazillion, that's what it felt like, other things. And I figured, oh, they'll be fine till the morning, and if I would have gone out that day, maybe I would have seen them droopy, maybe not, I'm not quite sure. But the second thing is it almost looked like there was like chemical drift or something, but I don't even know of anybody in this area that sprays. So I don't know. But that's kind of what it seemed like. I mean, it was that instant and that many plants were damaged. Another option I'm kind of toying with is the fact that I have heard some things online about the soil that people use for transplanting or planting having some sort of chemical in them, and that very well could be as well, because I did buy all the dirt, but I don't know, and it would make sense that certain plants were damaged a lot more than others in that situation, like maybe it was a batch of dirt that had some chemicals in it. I'm not sure, but right now I'm just saying it was all my fault, and we're just gonna chalk it up to that, and we have been working hard on saving these plants. So let's go out and check the field this morning. I did water them last night. We go out 2 to 3 times a day and check this specific field because we are trying to baby these plants back to life. And so let's go back and check them. I don't think I will need to water them until this evening, but I'm going back to check just in case. All right, we're down here at the far end of the pumpkin fields. We have a smaller patch over there. You can kind of see the white from the blocks that are holding the plastic down and stuff. And then we have 2 really long patches because these are pumpkins that really spread and they have massive vines. So we gave them lots and lots of space. And down here seems to be the worst of the damage. And I came through yesterday and I pulled out at least 50 dead plants and replanted with extra plants I had. So I gave them a week to recover, and if they didn't show any signs of recovering, and by recovering I mean that they started to grow leaves back, because there were some where the stalk was still green but they weren't growing any leaves, and so I decided to just get rid of those. So let me show you an example of one that is bouncing back, and let me show you where we transplanted some other ones. So this guy here we thought for sure was dead. In fact, Owen's like, you don't even need to bother watering down here, and he is bouncing back. That's a Cronus, so that's going to be giant carvers. Here's one as well, the next one up. It is also, there we go. It is also bouncing back, and soil is nice and moist, so I don't need to worry about watering them this morning. And then over here, this is one that I transplanted last night. And honestly, I don't have a clue what that is. It's probably a French pumpkin or a sweetmeat or something like that. But that was a transplant. This is a bounce back one. So it's doing okay. That one here is a transplant. That's just weighting that down, the wood chips are. Here's a dark night that's bouncing back. There's a transplant. Actually, I take that back. This is not a transplant. This is a Cronus that survived, and that's why it's so surprising, because if they had like this wind block area, they did survive. So I don't know, guys. I don't know what would have caused this. This one here is a transplant for sure. Transplant. There's the survivor, toughing it out. And then as we get further down, that was a transplant. There's the survivor. So as we get further down, the survivors actually are doing a lot better. That was a transplant. Here's one. This is a flat white, I believe. No, polar bear that bounced back. Same here, polar bear. So that's exciting. I thought we lost all of our white pumpkins. We have 3 different varieties. I thought we lost them all. And some of them are bouncing back. Not as many as I wanted, but we still have a good chunk here, so that's exciting. Polar bear. Was that a flat white? Oh, that was a transplant. So these are all either transplants or Cronuses. These ones here are transplants, or what was originally here. This little guy here is a Cinderella. So I'm assuming that's what that is, and that's what that is as well. That would probably be a Cinderella. Here's a transplant. That's what I pulled out yesterday. And see, it does have some green. This one almost looks like it got eaten off, but nothing's wanting to eat these guys yet. So I'm thinking that the wind was a major culprit here. Transplant, original, transplant, original, flat white. So that one's probably a flat white as well. I'd have to look at the stick. That one's probably a flat white. This little guy's trying to tough it out here. That one's also a flat white. And they definitely have plenty of moisture, so I'm thinking I won't even need to water back here. And that would be the first time that I've not had to water back here since the disaster a week ago. So I don't even know if these guys, the survivors, are going to grow anything. You know, if they got stressed at that young of an age, I don't know. But I'm giving them a fighting chance. Right now it's my only hope, especially for the white pumpkins. And as we get closer to the end here, the survivors are all looking a lot better. And they are looking, yeah, they're looking a lot better. Over in our smaller patch here, there was almost an entire row that was wiped out, so I transplanted that yesterday. And the second row had at least half of them wiped out, and then just 1s and 2s in the first 2 rows, so that's awesome. But look at these ones that are survivors. Let me show you what they look like. Okay, so that one's a flat white, and it's looking awesome. That one's a flat white. That looks awesome. That one looks awesome. So they are bouncing back, but the closer I get to this end, the better they are, which is really weird. Look at that one. That one's really coming back. These are dark nights now. They're a lot bushier. Look at this guy. And the Cronus over there, oh, that's a weed. But I'll show you in a second how big they are. Look at this guy. It's taller than this part of a beam that's back here that's weighting down the landscaping fabric. And it's starting to get buds. So over here, these guys are Cronuses. And they are doing pretty good too. Just a little evidence of the stress. It doesn't help that we have ants galore out here, but they're doing really well. So we were able to salvage quite a few just by babying them back. We came out and lightly watered them the first 3 days, 3 times a day, because we didn't want to overwhelm them with too much water, but we also needed to make sure that we watered them really well. So the first few days we came out and we watered them 3 times, and then 3 times a day, and then we cut back to twice, and now we're down to once, and I'm thinking I might not even come out. I was going to show you guys how I water, so I might need to finish filming this tomorrow morning, but we'll see how it looks this afternoon. And so we really are bouncing back. Now next week I believe I'll be able to add some fertilizer, and I think that'll help kick things into gear. I don't want to stress them out too much because they already have been so stressed. Man, the horseflies out here are just absolutely crazy. So in these smaller rows here we had mellow yellows, there was a gray pumpkin, I don't remember what they were, and we were able to salvage a lot of them, and in these last 2 rows I finished planting them shortly before all of this happened, and now a lot of them died, but thankfully I didn't transplant them all. So yesterday I came through and transplanted the rest of the plants that I had over there, and then mixed in along the big rows, and I was able to use up the rest of my transplants, and so I want to look at those and see how they're doing. And it's a relief to be done with planting for the 2020 season. It was a doozy, guys. It was totally a doozy, but we're done planting after 6 weeks, probably closer to 7 weeks of doing all of this by hand. We have a lot of changes coming in store for next year's planting season so that it's a lot quicker, more efficient, and not as exhausting. So let me show you these guys, and then we'll look at the ones I just transplanted to see how they are surviving in their new home in the row that pretty much nothing survived. So they're looking pretty good. I do need to come out and weed these guys. That's on my to-do list. It was so nice to come out and see some blossoms. That's such an encouragement. It gave me hope. That guy. I will come out and trim these dead ones off when I weed everything. See this guy here? He's looking pretty light green still, and that's what makes me really wonder, was it dry conditions or was it some sort of chemical? So this guy's nice and tall. I do worry that the wind is gonna blow him over, but there's nothing I can do about that. That one's he's got a nice dark green leaf there, so that's good. There's one that's a goner. Right there. This here is a weed. But yeah, that guy's definitely a goner. I was hoping he might bounce back, but not gonna happen. Might as well take it out. That one didn't survive. This one is bouncing back. This one is barely bouncing back right there. but it's hanging on, so we're gonna give it a chance. That one did not survive. So you can see that the further down this way we get, the rougher shape they were in. That one, we thought everyone in these rows over here, every end one died. But this little guy surprised us, and he's there. So there is hope out here. I'm thinking we will be able to get some pumpkins off of this field. We do have some changes going into place for next year. We also have changes going into place for this year. And I'll show you at the end of the video how we're watering these for now. And I am seriously considering putting down drip tape under each of these guys. But the thing that I worry about with that is that I can't make sure every individual plant gets water. So we have the drip tape. I'm just wondering if it's worth it or not. So that's where I'm at with that. Give these guys a little bit more time. We did have rain last night, so that's wonderful. So I'll give these guys more time. And then when we start deciding about fertilizer and all that, then I will make the decision about the drip tape. And in the previous video, you saw we were using the white pickup for using it for watering everything back here because we don't have the Sandpoint well put in yet. And we rigged up a different, similar system, but on the back of our hay wagon that we have. And that seems to be working really well, and I really like it. We don't need two people to water anymore. I can come out and water myself and reach everything without having to climb up and down and everything. So I'll show you a video of that. And we have a crazy couple of weeks coming up. Our mums that we ordered mum starts. They will be shipped any day now. And so we are going crazy getting ready for those, which is very exciting. But also a whole new system to learn. And after this pumpkins, my confidence is way down. But in tomorrow's video, or the next video, it'll probably be 2 or 3 days from now, I will give you an entire garden tour in our high tunnel, in all of the pumpkin fields that we have, so you guys can see how everything is going, how it's working out. And then once we get that done, then we're putting in a new irrigation system everywhere on the farm to make things a lot simpler and easier. And then we will work on mums. The mums are going to be quite a project because it's all new to us and we're just flying by the seat of our pants. But we have to do the prep work. We have to take the little tiny starts and pot them all, and irrigation, fertilizer, all of that. So that's like a whole nother thing, but I'm feeling better going into it now that these pumpkins are starting to recover. And we have, I'd say we lost probably about 50% of our pumpkins back here. If we count all the ones that have bounced back, assuming that they'll produce and bounce back. And so that was a big blow to me. So we do have some changes going into place for next year, and we found some solutions. It's going to cost some money, but hopefully in the long run it really helps. And it should really help ease a lot of the work in the future, and getting irrigation systems in that I can do by myself will really make a big difference. So, you know, I don't have a clue what happened out here, guys. Not a clue. It's so weird that the area that has trees blocking it, and I shouldn't say blocking it because we're in the middle of a field, but the area closest to the trees on the east survived, but the ones on the west side did not. The further west we went, the worse they got. So I'm not quite sure what the issue is. But we definitely were able to get some to bounce back. I'm praying they produce. I have hope. So that's good, because last week in that video I was a mess, and as you could see, it was a very rough day for our family. We just had 8 gazillion things going on, and work has been so busy. Owen was actually supposed to go out that day and help his dad do some work, and he had to tell him he couldn't, and that was rough for me, because like, you make a commitment to something, you do it, but there was no way that these would have survived. I wouldn't have been able to get everything done that needed to get done that day. So very glad he made the call, and him and Sydney came out, and Sydney's been helping me every day water these guys. And so now that we have this new system, she doesn't have to, but she still wants to. I think she kind of is rooting for these poor little pumpkins out here. But the good news is, this is only one of the fields that we have. We have pumpkins pretty much everywhere. If we count each area individually, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more little fields, 5 more patches that we have growing. And we did it that way so that if something like this did happen, that we wouldn't lose our entire crop. So I'm so glad we did, and I will show you those in the next video. But now I'm going to show you how we water. So we're back at the house, and I figured I would show you our setup for our pumpkin watering system. And while this is filling, you can see the line there, figured this is the perfect time to do it, because nobody's out here. I'm in the shade, and I have nothing else to do right at this point, because I have to wait for this to fill. So first things first, a garden hose running. You can see it right there, running from the house to the tank. We're filling it up. And so this is our hay wagon. So on the back is our pump and battery, and I just put it in a crate there. And then this is so that if it rains, it keeps the rain off. And when we're going, I don't need the crate right now, or the tote, but when we're going, I bungee this to there just to keep it snug. And the pump actually hangs up right there, and I can hook that up right now. So the pump fits right there. And I could go up one more too. I think I am gonna do that. Okay, so the pump goes right there, and then I can hook with the little alligator clips, I can hook the pump up to the battery and run it that way. What I like about this being down further is that there is a switch right here, so I don't need to climb up and down to turn it on and off. We had gotten rain the other day, so we had everything disconnected, and so I'm gonna have to go up there to hook it all up. So we need to hook up we need to hook up the hose. This is the inlet, the outlet is over here. So I'm gonna hook these up while we're waiting for that to fill, so that when I get out there I can just start watering and I don't have to be out in the field trying to hook this up. And then this side here is the other garden hose that we have. So that one goes right there. Fixed it. Alright, so that guy clips right there. The electrical cords are all right here. Climb up. Put this in. Good. The reason why I wanted the hose and everything to go off of the back is so that I can pull up at least 20 feet and spray all the hoses and then move the trailer forward another 20 feet, 40 feet, whatever. So I'm able to cover the entire length of the hose back and front. So I only have to move the trailer once or twice while I'm watering. So it makes it more efficient. I'm not always getting on and getting off the four-wheeler, all that kind of stuff. So it just speeds things up and makes things a lot nicer. I forgot my spray nozzle. Oh well, my hands will just get cold. So we got the pumpkins watered and it works out really well. It's harder when it's just one person to conserve water. It ended up working out okay, and I just felt like I wasted a whole bunch, but that's okay. At least I got them watered and they're looking really good. So that's it for today's video. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and we will see you next time.